Welcome everyone to our next iteration in our Modern Technology Solution webinars. Today we'll be looking at a newer entry to the commerce space, Awtomic subscriptions. I'm very excited to have Emily Yuhas here today, the CEO, and co-founder of Awtomic. Hi, Emily. Thanks for coming.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Great. Can we move forward 2 slides? Sorry. We're recording this webinar, so you don't have to. We'll post a link afterwards. Also, please do ask questions. We'll do our best to answer them live or at the end of the webinar. If any reason we can't, we will follow up with you after. Just a bit about wine shipping. We're here to protect your brand. We're the leader in direct consumer e-commerce fulfillment for wine, as many of you already know. But there's a lot you may not know about wine shipping and many compelling new services we've launched. Wholesale and storage, DTT, our new just-in-time service, JIT, as well as a wide range of value-added services and special projects. So please do reach out. There's a lot more we can do to help your brand and help your business. These are wine shipping stands, a promise for what we stand for into the future: unity, simplicity, and fun. Today we're focused on simplicity and how Awtomic can help simplify your business by equipping you to easily use Shopify for wine. They really have the missing pieces you need to get started with Shopify and take advantage of that platform, and have filled in a lot of the gaps that we had seen historically that made it harder for wineries to get started on that platform. All right, it's a fast agenda here. I'm gonna stop talking in a second, and we're gonna let Emily take us through the platform. But I do have one more point to make. The reason we're doing these webinars is wine shipping made a commitment 3 years ago to being a technology company, being a technology leader. We've made a lot of strides in the 3 years since then, releasing premium tracking, creating our new awesome client portal, adding a host of new services, and modernizing our internal operations. What we've learned since then is that our clients that have really taken the leap with us and embraced our new solutions and these new technologies that we've helped develop are actually growing. Where we see an uptick in those wineries. They're shipping more than they were year over year, some as high as 30% growth. Whereas wineries that have stayed set in their previous ways have been seeing a lot of headwinds. So the purpose of this webinar and of having Emily here today to show you everything they can do is that we really think this can be a major difference maker in your business if we can embrace these new solutions together. Thank you. All right, Emily.
All right, thank you. I'm really excited to speak to you all today about Awtomic. Awtomic is a wine club solution for Shopify. So I'm going to start with just a brief overview of kind of why I think Shopify is the future. I won't go super deep into this, but I'm happy to chat with anyone who's interested in Shopify further about some of the benefits we've seen of really moving into the Shopify ecosystem. So high level, if you're not super familiar with Shopify, there's 3 things that I think really stand out. One is the one-click checkout. I think this one seems really simple, but it's so impactful. We see that ShopPay lifts conversion by up to 50% compared to even just guest checkout, and outpaces all of the other accelerated checkouts by at least 10%, which is kind of nutty if you think about it. That's a huge impact in terms of conversion. If you're like me, this was really bad news for Black Friday, where it's just too easy to buy things. But what Shopify does is it stores payments across all of the Shopify stores. So if someone's coming to your site and you're on Shopify, when they go to checkout, if they've ever purchased on another Shopify store and save their information, which most people do, then it's just a one-click buy-in, and that includes Wine Club. So they don't have to fill out their shipping address, their billing information, their email, any of that. That's kind of all pre-populated, and they can just press one button to become a member. So it's super impactful kind of just from the get-go. Beyond that, and this is something that is very near and dear to my heart, but there's an incredible app ecosystem in Shopify. And I think this can feel intimidating at first because there are so many options, but what it means is that there are all these companies who have built pieces of functionality for Shopify, and each one is a deep expert in their field. And the ecosystem is incredibly cooperative and dynamic. So we have a ton of partners across other apps. We build a lot of direct integrations, and what I find is that it becomes a way of delivering exponential value. So whereas one company would never be able to invest in this many areas, in Shopify's ecosystem, there are all these companies that can invest deeply in their area, connect with other folks who invest deeply in their area, and what you get is this compounding system where you get a bunch of super powerful functionality that you can kind of piece together to deliver the experience that is what you need, whether that's operationally, but ideally to grow. And we just see a ton of innovation happening in Shopify. It's where, you know, a lot of the people who are really building the cutting edge systems for e-commerce are building. So, you know, lately a lot of really cool AI tools. But I think that will continue to be the case where we'll see all this innovation happening in the Shopify ecosystem. And once you're in the Shopify ecosystem, you can unlock that, you know, new functionality in any direction, whether it's for, fulfillment, marketing, club management, subscriptions, all of that, just by adding another kind of piece to your app puzzle. And the last piece, I think, you know, we hear a lot of like, oh, Shopify is kind of intimidating because that's not an all-in-one solution. I talked about the ecosystem, why I think that's a huge benefit, but I think the other thing that's often overlooked is that Shopify includes a built-in website element. So you don't have to externally build a website, externally host a website or manage it. It's all built in, and not only to make it kind of all in one place, but the website builder is incredibly easy to use. Like, you don't need a developer to go in and change copy, to change your images, to run promotions. You can easily self-service, like, edit sections, add titles, add new products. So it's incredibly powerful to have that piece included in like as part of Shopify in terms of just empowering your team to make the changes they need to move faster. I think all in all, really, really powerful system, and that's why we decided to really be kind of all in on Shopify. So without any further ado, I'll go deeper into Awtomic specifically, which is, you know, my company. So I think we have this really special combination that is very unique, where we actually started focused mostly on kind of subscription e-commerce. And so what that allowed us to do was work with a lot of the cutting edge subscription e-commerce brands and learn not only what works for them, how they grow, how they retain, but actually be leaders in innovation in that space. So when we think about the future and our roadmap, we think about how can we continue to drive conversion, and how can we continue to drive engagement and retention and help you build really strong membership and community in ways that are new and kind of haven't been done before. And I think that's really important when we think about wine clubs, which has been a major focus of ours for the past couple of years. So we've also built in that traditional wine club support. So there isn't kind of like the sacrificing of any functionality that you already need. You're able to bring over wine clubs as they are, but pair that together with this ability to unlock, you know, some of the tools that people have been using to grow subscription e-commerce. And so I think those two together, those two pieces together, help you not only kind of streamline and improve your existing capabilities in terms of operations and consumer experience, but unlock the future of how do you move into the next phase? How do you experiment with new models? How do you offer more customization? How do you unlock some of the incredible pieces of the Shopify ecosystem to help get more brand awareness. And so really it allows you to kind of move into the future of Wine Club without sacrificing anything from what you offer today. I'm going to go through a few things that I think really stand out about Awtomic and some of our core functionality, and then we'll jump into a demo so you can see things kind of live. But just to cover some of the main points and why strategically I think these things are so important. We've seen a huge move towards flexible wine clubs because they do increase inversion and especially retention. And this is another place where we saw this, we've seen this in subscription e-commerce for many years already, where when you're selling, items together, like bundles of items, if the customer is able to have some choice in what they're getting, they will stay longer. And it seems kind of intuitive when you say it that way, but I think there is a lot of beauty behind winemaker selection and choosing for them. But the nice thing about our system is that you don't have to choose one or the other. And what we're seeing more and more is wine clubs coming to Awtomic, bringing their traditional wine clubs, maybe adding some customization to that as well, but also introducing a flexible subscription model. And so again, what we can unlock is that ability to do those things side by side, to experiment, to offer some flexibility, kind of speak to the customers who want that customization, also speak to the customers who want you to just choose for them, but kind of lean into that knowledge that we've been gaining from the broader e-commerce world, where that customization really does drive people to be more loyal, to stay longer. In the long run, that ability to pick what you want ends up getting people to stick around. And so I have a few examples here. I'm happy to share more, but what's nice is we can make the interfaces that are very branded and kind of fun for any brand, but that do deliver the abilities to choose what bottles you're getting, to choose number of bottles if that's something you want to offer. We can also do different frequencies. We can allow one-time purchases. So there's a ton of flexibility all within your control, but that ultimately unlock that improvement in conversion and retention. This is another piece that I think it's so interesting because it's been kind of a standard in subscription e-commerce that people should be able to manage their own subscriptions. And it's still somewhat new, I would say, in the wine club world. So one thing that we are really focused on is having delightful experiences around management. And this, I think, speaks especially to some of the younger audiences that we're trying to engage more when it comes to wine clubs. So millennial and Gen Z customers already have that expectation of self-service management. And in fact, not only that, but we're seeing over 80% of engagement with our portal from mobile devices. So it's not only important that they can self-manage, but do it from their mobile devices, which our customer portal is optimized for having a responsive layout. So you can access it from any size device. Along with self-service management, which means being able to update your shipping address, being able to self-service switch between shipping and pickup if you want to, being able to easily update your payment. You can also easily update what you're getting. So whether that's customizing your club or even more powerfully allowing people to add items to their upcoming shipment. We've seen this unlock a lot of really great, what we call expansion revenue. So maybe you have a 6-bottle club and a 12-bottle club, but you can let people add additional items on top of that. This also unlocks really cool kind of automations around membership benefits. So in our system, you can do things like segment certain bottles to certain club tiers. So my higher club tiers get access to a special selection of bottles. Maybe you can even segment discounts. So you have a lot of control here that helps you deliver on your membership benefits in an automatic way and in a way that doesn't require them to ever enter payment again. So anything they add from the portal here gets billed and sent with their shipment. They don't need to enter credit card information to make these additional purchases. So lots of powerful functionality when it comes to self-service that not only, again, helps engage those younger audiences, improve retention, but can actually improve average order value as well. This is one of my favorite features on the platform. We have a feature we call Moments. It was modeled after kind of our initial thinking around how do we create a personal relationship and scale it. And so we thought a lot about the special moments and how you celebrate that with your friends and family. And so that was kind of the basis of how we built this feature, which allows you to create these individual kind of moments where something happens, you give someone a reward, and then you tell them about it. And what's really powerful about this is you're able to even segment these moments. So you're able to have different rewards for different club tiers, for different customers based on things like maybe they're VIP, maybe they're super high LTV customers. You can have very personal feeling kind of moments and relationships with each of these customers and reward systems to make it feel like you're actually acknowledging kind of their specific situation, how long they've been members, their relationship with the brand, and then give them these really cool, powerful incentives. So, you know, the base level one being kind of discount, but we go much further than that. We can do things like gifts. We can do even the choice of gifts. So for example, you know, one really cool example we saw was we work with a club that has a lot of merch. So they let people choose between 2 different types of hats. And there's just incredibly high engagement from that gift alone. So we see a lot of psychology around, you know, just the excitement of being able to choose a gift and really have that engagement moment. And then things like badges as well. So kind of thinking down the, like if you have any kind of mission or impact or even just kind of acknowledgement, like a congratulations, you can give someone, you can focus more on the acknowledgement, the communication. We have options around sending like handwritten, printed but handwritten looking cards. So really cool options in terms of how you reward people and keep them engaged ultimately. And then a big part of that is the clear communication as well. So really giving them those visuals and the visual reminders of why am I a member? Why should I stay? Why should I stay, you know, part of this club? What am I going to get? And also getting that reinforcement through emails and SMS in terms of what's coming up is really, really powerful.
Yeah, and this is where our integration is going to prove just, you know, I mean, I think really make those moments even more special because we can pass this end to end all the way to the unboxing experience. And that could include special gifts, handwritten gift cards, all kinds of things you would want to include in the box. So I think this one's really exciting.
Yeah, and just one of those perfect moments of, you know, that exponential value from the ecosystem, because yeah, when we come together like this, we can provide an experience that like exceeds, you know, what any single platform could do. So yeah, I love that. I think so many cool opportunities here. I want to also quickly touch on point of sale. So we do have the most extensive point of sale extension set when it comes to wine clubs and Shopify. We have a few different extensions, including one that we call our membership tile, which allows you to easily pull up that someone's a member, how long they've been a member, of what clubs, if they have an order for pickup, if their credit card has failed, and then important customer information. We have folks track things like how many tastings they've already claimed, things like that here, birth dates, spouse or partner information. So just really like at the, you know, tip of your fingertips when somebody comes in to be able to know all the important information about them. We also have a sign up flow for Wine Club on POS, which is very unique, which allows you to not only sell kind of like individual clubs, but customizable clubs as well. And then to have selections around if the customer wants to do that as a pickup order or have it shipped to them, kind of all of the allowances that you might need. You can even choose if you want to actually generate an order at that time or have them go out with the next club shipment. So lots of very specific controls there. We also are working on the ability to have cards on file and bill against those. So that's the next extension coming that we're really excited about. And I think, you know, once that's complete, we'll have kind of the comparable suite of point of sale functionality to really make your tasting room experience magical in the Shopify world in a way that hasn't been possible before. So something we're heavily investing in. One thing I don't want to gloss over, because it ends up being a huge part of the benefit that we see when people move to Shopify and Awtomic, is the operational time saving. Given that we've started from the point of kind of automating as much as possible, that's something that we continue to do and still support, the needs that you have. So in general, the club runs are billed automatically. We do have the ability with our integration with drinks to flag any clubs that are out of compliance before the point of billing, which we found hugely helpful in terms of just not having all of the things that have to happen on a single day. We also have automated failed payment follow-up, and we have a really rigorous schedule that's actually customizable as well. So that's not something that has to be manually handled after the point of billing. And so kind of end-to-end when it comes to clubs, and again, with the self-service management, there's a lot that just gets taken off your plate when it comes to kind of moving clubs to Awtomic, and that's something that we take a lot of pride in terms of how much we can really improve not only the efficiency of your team, but also reduction in customer support needs. And this is something we hear time and time again, just, oh wow, our current club process is so tedious, and that's something that we are able to improve right off the bat. I just want to kind of go back to the power of the ecosystem again. Just a few things to call out that we get asked about often, but of course, we have a really deep integration with drinks. We highly recommend them for compliance. I think one thing that's really cool about drinks is that it's so native to Shopify. They actually have the special ability to impact taxes at the point of checkout, which is not actually open to most app developers. So when it comes to just streamlining compliance in a way that's native to Shopify, they're really like an incredible solution. We do club level tagging and updating with Talk as well, so that if you do use Talk for appointments, you can know that somebody's a club member and of which club when they come in. And then of course, we've been in the Shopify ecosystem for a long time now. We have top of the line integrations with all of the best kind of apps in the ecosystem, and we're constantly building integration. So a lot of folks end up using Klaviyo, Attentive, PostScript for email and SMS marketing, and then Gorgeous for customer support. There's a long list of other integrations. Those tend to be the ones that come up the most, but just again, that kind of super power that you get from being part of a connected ecosystem is something we value quite a bit. Before we go on to this next slide, I'm just going to jump over quickly to a demo so you can see some of this in action.
Great.
So just to call out, this is our demo site. So it has very generic theming, but that's really just to show that it's kind of a blank canvas. We can style anything to match your brand. And so this is kind of just a basic starting point, but I just wanted to show a few kind of cool things here and most of these have been taken from real life examples. So I've kind of genericized them here, but just kind of just show some of the capabilities. So in this example, I have kind of like a preset club with maybe 3 bottles or 6 bottles. And one thing I wanted to show off here a little bit was our gift functionality. So we have the ability to do prepaid shipments. So in this example, I've done a gift where I can gift a year of a quarterly club. One thing that we do that's super unique is when we sell these prepaid gifts, we actually take the recipient information, their name, their email address, and note. We create an account for them in Shopify, so you actually have a customer record. We tag them as a gift recipient so that it's easy to target them with campaigns or outreach. And then we actually create a customer portal for the gift recipient so they can go in and do some self-management as well. We do things like hide the prices. They also get gift emails that are specific that hide pricing but include gift notes. So we really have this really kind of cool end-to-end experience for gift recipients, both on the consumer side and on your side, again, for being able to have that customer relationship and the ability to communicate with them on an ongoing basis. There's also ways to target gift recipients with moments. So if you wanted to, re-engage them when their gift expires, we have ways to set that up in an automatic way. So really, really cool kind of additional option for just, again, converting more members and keeping them engaged. Going into kind of our customizable clubs here, and again, there's so many options when it comes to what you can do here. And so this is one example of having, a few different preset sizes. We can also do minimums or maximums. We can do different combinations. Each one of these sizes can have different discount levels. So you can see here, this is just, again, a super kind of basic setup, but even out of the box, we do a lot of nice things like pull in all of the product information and imagery, and just make it really, really easy for customers to make their selections. And again, one really nice thing about just how flexible our system is you can kind of mix and match a lot of these things. Like we have customers who don't let you customize on purchase, but only, on the management side. So there are different ways you can set this up that really can kind of conform to how you want to manage your club, but ultimately makes it a really great experience for the consumers. This one's just another version, but you can see in this case, just to show kind of some of the fun mechanics around the e-commerce and how we can bring that to Wine Club. In this case, this is a more flexible model where I can buy 1 to 5 bottles and save 5%, but I can buy 6 or more and save 10% and get free shipping. So this is an even further on the kind of customizable scale, but you can see how we're using incentives to really drive the purchase number up. So kind of a fun example there. This is the Awtomic app. One thing you'll notice is that it's built into Shopify. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Shopify, what you're seeing here on the left and then on the top, this is all just kind of the Shopify interface, and our app is embedded. We've spent a lot of time making it really easy to use so that it feels like Shopify. So we use a lot of the same patterns, so you don't feel like you have to learn like a new system or be kind of kicked out into another environment. And that's something that, and we get a lot of great feedback on in terms of just making it easier to manage. What you'll see here is we use the words subscription and bundles throughout the application. Basically, anything in this list is anyone that we have a club or some recurring billing for. So again, one of the nice things about the way we've built things that makes things super flexible is everything in our world is something that we can charge on a recurring basis, but you can dictate the schedule. So it can be something that has a set schedule that you define, so quarterly billing schedule on these 4 dates, or it can be something that's more of a rolling subscription. All of these things can live side by side. Customers could, in theory, be members of both if you wanted to allow that. So lots of functionality there. Jumping in, you can always see kind of the full context of the customer. This demo site doesn't take real payments, but we always show the LTV, number of orders, how long they've been members, things like that. You can always see a full history. So we make it really easy from the customer management, kind of customer support management side of things to make any changes that you might need to make on a one-off basis, to make any changes you might want to make on a bulk basis. So for example, if I wanted to filter to just my pickup orders and then bill those a day early, I could do that really easily as well. Maybe pick up for a specific club tier. So yeah, you can do really a lot, whether it's for kind of all of your club members or for individual club members. One fun thing to call out here too is that in Awtomic, and I think this is pretty different from what some folks are used to in like a Wine Direct, is that we always have a record of what any given customer will be billed for next. And so instead of kind of defining clubs and applying those clubs to the people, you can do that where you're always able to update what somebody's getting in their club for the next shipment, but they always still have a record of what they're going to get. So for example, it's not uncommon from the folks we've worked with that maybe, this specific customer always wants, 3 additional bottles of the Chardonnay with their order. And so I can add that here. And then they're still in this Premier Club, but they've got these 3 bottles. And any updates I make to the Premier Club will update this, but they'll still have their kind of personal preference that persists. So it really allows you to persist those customizations without having to create like hundreds of clubs on the back end that you have to remember, applies to these 3 people. You can really just keep the per person customizations in a way that's very clear and that will continue for that specific customer, again, to kind of create that very personal feeling experience. I'll go over here before we jump to the management side of things, just to show you too kind of how easy it can be to manage clubs. So for example, you can easily define the products in your club. You can easily change these. So what we often see is, for a quarterly club, maybe on a certain date I go in, I remove the old items, I add the new items. And then what we do is we kick off this flow where you can reset everybody's selections based on the new kind of allocations that you want to make. So in this case, I'm going to say my 3 bottle club members are going to have this distribution of products, and my 6 bottle club members are going to have this distribution of products. And then once I finish this flow, it will go in and update all of my club members to have these selections. One other kind of cool thing is we can also do what we call specific replacements. So if you want to, you can do more of a mapping, and this will be a way to keep some of the customization. So maybe if last time I updated my Chardonnays to have 3 bottles of that, but only 1 bottle of this, and then I'm updating my vintage here, then we'll map the same quantity over to the new vintage. So you get to let that customer keep their customization, but map them to the new vintages or replacements that you're defining. So lots of optionality here for giving you that control to bring people along on the wine club journey, but decide how it is that they're kind of updated. You can see here too that it's really easy to set the discount levels per club size. So in this example, I have 3 different club sizes, and then I have different discount amounts for each one. This is not in any way like a requirement. You can have even just 1 club size if you want. You can add more, but again, the flexibility that this allows is for you to have that easy control, but also experiment if you'd like to. And then just to call out, we have really detailed analytics throughout the app as well. So we have some kind of overview analytics, but you can even go deep into the analytics of a specific club. You can see kind of at the club level what revenue is looking like. You can look at how, if you offer different frequencies, how that's distributed. You can look at the revenue versus like number of club members for different sizes. Products within the club, how that's kind of distributed, retention by cohort, growth rate, churn rate. So you can really get super detailed understanding of how your clubs are performing. And then of course your overall recurring revenue club business too. So we really kind of bring, again, the way that subscription e-commerce brands are thinking about recurring revenue to the wine club space, where you can really get that super detailed understanding of kind of the health of the business. Okay, I'm going to jump over quickly to the management portal. So a few things I want to show here. This is again our kind of default portal that can be styled. I want to show here on the customizable club just how easy it is for somebody to go in and customize. So in this case, I've changed a few selections, and then I just save, and then I'm done. So this is kind of the customizable club experience. You can see now my selections have updated here. A few other fun things. So here, maybe I know that I'm going to be able to stop by and pick up my order. And I even can choose between tasting rooms if there are multiple. I can just kind of self-service update that, no problem. I'm just going to refresh this so we can see everything reflected. And then another really powerful thing, you can add your payment information for a new credit card directly in the portal. Again, we do automated via failed payment follow-up flow, and all of our emails come with a secure link. And so this is actually not just failed payment, but all of the emails that we send come with a secure link directly to this page. So especially when it comes to some of the more elderly members, We just remove as much friction as possible when it comes to getting to the place where you manage your club. And so that means that you don't have to enter a password or enter a code if you're coming from an email. When you're coming from the website, like say it was kind of outside of an email and someone just wants to log in from the website and check things out, we also offer passwordless login so that people can just put in their email address and then they get a code that they enter, so they don't have to remember passwords or set passwords. So again, just overall, we try to reduce the amount of friction when it comes to management. There's a lot of functionality that can be turned on or off depending on what you can support. So pretty much everything here has like an on-off switch on the admin side, but we can do things like allow people to skip, allow people to place their order now if that's something you can support. And then again, I mentioned the add-ons, which really help drive selling more product in a really easy way. So in this example, I have these set to be added as one-time items. You can let people add things as recurring. So for each shipment, they would get additional items. You can let people choose, like maybe I'm having a big dinner party soon and I want to add a few bottles, but I don't want that on a regular basis. So really a lot of control here. And again, you can define discounts and access based on customer tier. And then kind of getting to the moments feature I mentioned here, this is an example in our demo site. I've set up a few milestones here. You can see, and you have full design control over this. In my example, I've used black and white pictures for before I've earned, and then they light up with color once I've earned them. So you can see I've earned a few here, and I'm still looking forward to my 2-year reward. One other one I wanted to show that's kind of a fun example. I've set up, let's see if this one has it. I've set up this as a segmented reward. So in this case, I have a seasonal favorites club that's kind of my lower tier, like entry level club, and then I have a premier club, and I've created a moment just for my seasonal favorites members to gift them a taster of my premier club, so that they can kind of taste that club, and it's positioned as a gift, but it's actually like an upselling moment as well. So just to get to some of the kind of fun mechanics around what you can really do with the ability to do these kind of segmented clubs. Let's see.
The champagne tower is my favorite icon so far. They're all great, but.
Oh man, I've gone deep on the internet with finding some fun pictures here, and there are just so many good ones. I guess one other quick thing here is just to show, again, just how self-service everything is. Like if I want to upgrade to the 6-bottle club here, I can just easily do that. And then even for the DIY version or the customizable club, it's really easy to let people upgrade even to the number of bottles they have. So in this case, I'm part of the 6-bottle club, but if I want to go to the 12-bottle club, or if I want to go to the 3-bottle club, I can just easily self-service do that and make my selections and update. So again, just a lot of the things that I know a lot of customer support teams have to field now, customers at least have the ability to do on their own. Yeah. See, yeah, so I think those are kind of the big things. Oh, one other thing I'll just cover quickly, since it's something that comes up not infrequently, is we do also, so we have our analytics, which covers kind of like the historical in like basically shipments and orders that have already been billed. We also have a forecasting tool in the app that helps you project forward in terms of, given your current active club members, what is the quantity of each bottle that you need, and you can specify like the amount of time that you want to look at. You can even go so far as to look at specific groups of states, for example, or countries. So you can get very, very specific in terms of what you're looking for here. So if I'm looking at, let's see, one thing that we see sometimes is people who have specific warehouses that they want to look at, or warehouse groups. You can go really specific there too. But yeah, it just gives you that ability to project not only revenue, if it's more of a kind of like marketing and spend, but quantity, orders, when it comes to inventory planning. so you can really see what, given your current active club members, what you can expect in the coming weeks in terms of how much product you need. Great. There's just so much more. I'm gonna pause here, and of course, you know, if anyone is interested in going deeper into the product, I'm so happy to meet with you, and please don't hesitate to reach out. We can, in our demos, go deeper into your specific setup, use case, any questions that you have, whether it's about Awtomic or, in often case, I can cover a lot about Shopify as well. So yeah, lots more fun stuff to go into, but I think we've kind of covered some of the basics here at least. So I'm gonna kick it back over so that we can get to questions.
It's a great overview.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to reiterate here. We have an integration with Shopify and Awtomic and focused on orders, inventory, and tracking. Get it right every time. Very experienced in this, so that's available out of the box. And then, you know, I think something very exciting, you know, that moments feature that Emily mentioned during the demo, that's something that we can work end to end through our order flow. So those special moments can become things that, you know, that are part of that unpacking experience. And that's all available today. I think that's a very exciting part of the future. As far as questions, I have at least a couple easy ones. But Emily, I think you were doing product at Eventbrite before this, is that right?
That's right. I come from the tech industry, long time tech veteran, but before this, immediately before this was at Eventbrite, and that's where I met my two co-founders. Okay. So yeah, we all come from the tech side of the world, but yeah, been hyper focused on e-commerce and wine clubs over the past few years.
What inspired you guys to build this?
That's a great question. So initially, actually, my sister was our inspiration. She has a brand, sells products on Shopify, and she was kind of always bringing up issues with her subscription experience and things, not just issues, but things that she wished she could do. And what I found as I dug into it for her was that a lot of the brands that were doing the cutting edge things when it came to subscription e-commerce had paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars for custom implementations. And so even though there's this gap that was kind of closing in terms of what you can do in a more self-service way when it comes to e-commerce, that wasn't the case really when it came to subscription. Like you could basically do a super basic setup, or you could do like a super custom expensive setup. And so initially that was one of the things that we really wanted to do, is to deliver a premium subscription experience that worked out of the box. And right off the bat, one of the things that came up that was a major limitation for folks when they were thinking about, should I build this, or is there something I can use, software I can use as a service, was bundling, and as we call it in broader subscription e-commerce, which is that kind of customizable selling of products together. So we were the first app to go really deep on how can I sell a customizable bundle as a subscription and have it be not only a great experience on purchase, but on the management side. We ended up then going really deep on the reward system as well, because that's something that really came up as kind of brands thinking, okay, I've sold people into a subscription, how do I keep them? And so we had seen a lot of what was called surprise and delight, but we felt that it could be even better, like when, you know, actually when you remove the surprise part out of it. So when you actually use it as an incentive, rather than kind of throwing a random gift into a box and hoping that somebody appreciates it. And so those elements really led us to wine clubs, which is, again, where we've spent a lot of our time over the past couple of years, because I think those are kind of, those ended up being kind of the key elements, and we've seen so many wine clubs really wanting to take that step into modernizing their technology and e-commerce approach. And so that was kind of the path that led us here. That all makes sense in hindsight, but yeah, it's been a really fun journey.
Well, that really tracks with my experience. And I'm glad you did it. A couple of years ago, I was leading some implementations on Shopify that it was traditional. It was difficult to get at these traditional wine club experiences, or expensive anyway, let's say. And seeing people kind of rally to the cause and come up with these more out of the box solutions it's I think it's great, because otherwise the value was just a little hard to get at for a lot of wineries.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when you use something that's out of the box, but then everything's so custom on top of it that you still have to submit developer requests every time you want like the tiniest thing changed, you haven't really gotten the benefit of out of the box.
That's right. Just product to product, what are you proud of in the platform that you designed?
Oh gosh, so much. I think I think what I love about our product and our team is that we are super, super customer focused. And I think that that's both in terms of the brands we work with and their end consumers. We consider everyone, our customer really important. And so where I see some folks going really broad in terms of like, we're just going to build all these features that check the box. We go really deep on things. And so when it comes to things like bundling and clubs, it's really truly integrated into every little piece of our app. We think through it in extreme detail. And when it comes to usability, we don't make a lot of sacrifices there in terms of making something a delightful experience. We'll take the extra time to make it usable and easy and fun to use. And so I think, that's something we hear a lot of great feedback on as well. So it's not just, obviously I'm biased and I think our product's great, but I do think it's something that we're constantly working on and making sure that that's something that the customers we work with are feeling in terms of that the benefit they get of just using the product, the efficiency, getting the customers to making sure that their customers have a good experience too. Our team just really deeply cares about our product, but really about our customers and the experience that they have. And so that's something that I at least hope reflects in all of our interactions in our product, but also in our onboarding and our customer support, in our ongoing relationships. It's not uncommon that we have like regular strategy calls with the brands we work with. And that's something that we love, and that's a kind of deeply ingrained part of our culture.
That's good advice. I'm going to take that seriously myself. I think a lot of product is about how holistically do you think about what you do, as opposed to just trying to check off, RFP lists. And I think that commitment really shows in what you guys have done.
Oh, thank
On that subject, what do you think people overlook when they're doing these types of evaluations? What do you think they should pay more attention to?
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of fear and a lot of like looking for something that looks the same as what you used before. And I think that, folks who are evaluating Shopify really should be evaluating it for the potential, for the growth, for the innovation. And so I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you're looking for exactly what you had before. You should be looking for something that serves, the potential for growth and innovation and flexibility, and brings you to a new way of thinking and interacting when it comes to e-commerce and wine club. And so I think that's kind of the major pitfall I'm seeing is they're just, and I totally get it. It's intimidating. It's a big platform change. And so there's some level of comfort when it comes to, like, I just want some things to feel the same. But I do think it's a good time to make that shift and to really maximize what you're getting out of going through the transition, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I know we need to finish up soon. One last question. What are you excited about for the future in the platform?
Oh gosh, so many things. I think I mentioned one thing we're really excited about is our very unique kind of credit card vaulting and card on file functionality. That's kind of like an immediate term, like near term piece that, again, one of the things I really love about the focus we've had on Wine Club is, but still kind of having a lot of customers that are in broader subscription e-commerce, is that we have that huge kind of overview, like we can always see what's happening in both spaces. And the ability to charge someone's vaulted card for outside purchases, I think benefits everyone. Like it's just something that should be possible, and it hasn't really been in the past, and it's something that seems like a no-brainer. Like if I've opted into having you store my credit card, allowing more flexibility to say, you know what, I want to send my mom a case of 3 wines for her birthday, and I just want you to charge my card for it. Just like so many opportunities there for just making things totally seamless, not requiring any additional payment step. And then of course, the more traditional use cases of like, I'm in the tasting room and I just want you to charge my card on file. Just like the spectrum of things there that we can empower is just, I think, incredible. And so that's a piece I'm really excited for. We have a lot of fun things in development that really get to conversion. We've been thinking a lot about how do we help on the conversion front, making it super easy to experiment when it comes to different layouts or designs or options. We're of course thinking a lot about AI, not only for things like content, but things like efficiency, helping people really take the data they have, turn it into insights and action automatically, without having to feel like they need to like have a much larger team to achieve that type of kind of depth when it comes to the rewards program and things like that. So we know a lot of people are resource strapped when it comes to, especially when it comes to things that require a lot more of the like strategic thinking and planning. And so we're thinking about how do we just boost efficiency across the board. So yeah, again, I think what you'll see as a trend here is, for the most part, what we're building is more on the cutting edge. How can we push the needle versus how can we build what already exists? And I think that's important, and it's a core to our strategy where we're always thinking about how we can the things we build, how we can kind of rise the tide for everybody. Like how can we always be providing you more and more powerful tools as a customer of the platform.
Makes sense. I know people care a lot about those sort of white glove concierge type experiences, and especially around payments or other situations that are really important to the wineries. So, makes a lot of sense, and being able to offer them at lower costs is important too.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks so much, Emily. Can I ask our host? I think we got all the questions. I think still out there.
Hey, thanks, Caleb and Emily. Emily also here, fielding the questions. We do have one question that came in. What kind of credit card decline rates are you seeing in subscription billings?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would definitely have to take a look at the rates, because actually I think Shopify has recently made some major improvements in terms of some of the great tactics around like replacing credit cards and things like that automatically. So I will need to pull an updated rate. I'm happy to share that. But in general, in the past, whenever we've looked just across like all of subscription e-commerce, we've had the lower end of kind of what we've seen in terms of the possible decline rates. So, and that what we really impact is that kind of automated follow-up piece. But that's also paired with Shopify, again, Shopify's billing technology. And so those two pieces together, I think, are what really are the equation for hitting that kind of like lowest possible decline rate. But it does vary, brand to brand to some degree, and certainly something I can go deeper on and follow up with somebody on if they're interested in specific rates for wine clubs.
Great, thanks. I'm not seeing any other questions that have come in, but I'll pass it back over to you, Caleb and Emily.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for attending. Thank you, Emily, for the wonderful demo and presentation. And we'll see everybody soon.
Thank you.
All right.